Hey, what's going on, guys? We're live again with another video. Today, I know I'm a few hours too late, but Mikel Arteta has already done his press conference ahead of Arsenal's away game again against Crystal Palace. We played them at home in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals. We beat them 3 goals to 2 at our own yard, eliminating them from the EFL Cup. And Arsenal are through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, having to play Newcastle at home first in the first leg of the semi-finals, and then away at St. James Park. I did do a video of the draw and also our reactions to the draw yesterday with my friend Luca and Jordan joining us. Luca supports Arsenal as well, and Jordan supports Liverpool. Big up, Jack. I just finished watching your boxing interview. Before I went live, I saw that you uploaded, and I just checked that out. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good Friday. Guys, it is the Friday officially before the holidays, and I could finally hang up my legal robes and tabs because it's now a vacation. It's not really a vacation where I'm going away from home just yet. I do plan to attend the Ipswich game next weekend at the Emirates, so I'll be there. Big up to Dylan. Guys, Charlie's doing a gaming stream later today, so I didn't want to clash with his stream. So I'll try to make this quick and not clash with his stream. Hi, Rosie. I hope you're well. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you very much. I did have makeup on earlier when I went to work, but I came home and I kind of just want to sit back and relax. So thanks everyone who's tuned in so far, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter. Big up Agbula. Hope you're well, and big up to Dylan. Guys, we are gonna break down Mikel Arteta's press conference, everything that he discussed in his press conference, as well as Arsenal finally announcing that Mikel Arteta has officially been 5 years, and I do think he's gonna get a contract extension. They're just having to yet to announce it. We're gonna announce my predicted 11 for this game. Who starts? Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, who was rested midweek, or do we play Jesus on the left, Kai down the middle, and Saka on the right wing? We are going to talk about that in my predicted lineup. And I want to hear your thoughts on who gets a start in this game away to Sellers Park. I'm also going to talk about a look ahead at the fixtures coming up in January. Arsenal are going to be in almost all the cup competitions, with the FA Cup third round beginning in February. There are Champions League games still left to be played, with Dinamo Zagreb in January and then Girona away. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of Dinamo Zagreb, but I do know we have them at home at the Emirates in the Champions League, and we need to win either one of those games to finish top 8 of the group stages. I really hope we can do it, and we also, just like I mentioned earlier, in the EFL Cup semifinals, Arsenal are playing Newcastle at home first. I did mention yesterday that Fabian Schär and Bruno Guimaraes are suspended for the first leg due to yellow cards. So they won't be available for selection for Newcastle's team. Guys, we're going to go straight into the intro and then we'll get started on this stream. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in. 9 games in January, that's right, and 5 of those games are going to be at home in January, back-to-back home fixtures. Those of you who struggle to get to games, these cup games, I know it's midweek, and sometimes on a pissing down rainy weather, but it is quite nice to go there. How much is a flight and ticket for the Emirates? I'm from Brampton as well. I'm not from Brampton, but I'm from Mississauga, born and raised. How much is a flight and ticket for the Emirates? I'm not sure the ticket prices for the Emirates because I have a season ticket rental this season, and friends sort me out stuff like that. And the flight, I have a friend that works for Air Canada, so I usually fly standby, or he shares his family and friends discount. So big up to my resources that help me out a lot. I'm really grateful to have those kind of connections, so it doesn't really cost me too much. Big up, Ty. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Chelsea really doing well in the Europa Conference League. Mark Wayhu, big credits to Barcelona there. You got a good player on your hands for such a cheap price tag. He's looking like he's performing week in and week out in the Conference League. I did watch your game against Shamrock Rovers. Mind you, it's just Shamrock Rovers. But good game anyway, and Chelsea did have a soaring high win midweek. I was at the Everton game, so frustrating. We need to bounce back with 3 points. I was not able to go to this Everton game. I was at work and also recovering from a cold that I had for a while with a bad cough. But I gave my ticket to a good friend of mine who went to the game, and really frustrating performance. I thought the second half, bringing on Trossard from the bench, I just felt like the substitutions we made in this game, Arteta may have overthought this game. I know sometimes we struggle against low block teams. Of course, Sean Dyche's Toffees got the best of us, and that draw did feel like a defeat. So definitely, I hear you on that point. We need to bounce back with 3 points starting at Selhurst Park. And mind you, I did know Gabriel Martinelli. He scored in the 4 back-to-back fixtures against Crystal Palace, so I hope he can do it again. Is he getting a start, though, in this game against Crystal Palace away from home? Guys, we have not been on the best momentum in the league. No matter how you want to sugarcoat this, our form has not been the greatest. Some of our players have been injured. We are going to talk about the injury updates of Calafiori, Declan Rice, and potentially Tomiyasu having a return. Midweek, Tierney asked to be subbed off in the game against Crystal Palace in the League Cup because I felt like he got cramps. I thought he got cramps, and I think that's my understanding. I hope and pray it's not a serious injury, because this guy, he was such a good servant to the club and a great left back. I know he's currently being linked on a move to Celtic again on loan. As could be as early as January that he goes to Celtic on loan. But I was just saying, I really hope he's not injured again. Like, it would just be so typical of him to get injured again. So I hope that's not the case. And thanks to everyone who's tuned in, locked in live. We're going to cue the intro now and go straight into discussing all that Mikel Arteta said in his press conference, and then I'll go straight into my predicted lineup and my thoughts for how Arsenal will set up in this away fixture. So one moment, please, and we'll cue the intro right now. So first and foremost, Arsenal have a away fixture against Crystal Palace in the league. As I just mentioned not long ago, our form in the league hasn't been the greatest. I don't think it's been the worst, but in some games like Bournemouth and the Everton game, even in the league, some of these are winnable. We struggle to come back to. There is a game where we play, it's like the first half we're terrible. The second half, Arteta does something to the players, says a lot in the dressing room, and they come out all guns blazing in the second half. That's what we've seen so far in the League Cup. Against Monaco in the Champions League, we could have scored more goals. We failed to do so. I know it's an entirely different competition, but it is what it does matter for us. Thanks, Raj, for tuning in. Big up to Team Canada. Alfonso Davis was playing right now. I don't know if the game's done, but they were just having a game now. Big up, Mel. Maybe Jesus left wing and Kai center forward. With what we experienced last match in the Carabao Cup games, Jesus's peak form is back. So if he has consistent games, he would keep the fire burning. 100%. We are going to talk about that. That's one of my talking points here. But let me go straight into Arteta's presser. Folks, Arteta did his press conference early this morning. It happened around 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys missed it, Arteta corrected himself first off in the end of the stream, where he said Tomiyasu is not available and Zinchenko would probably be under a late fitness assessment, in terms of he still has a chance of making it. Trust me, if you haven't already watched or listened to Arteta's press conferences previously, sometimes Arteta, and I think I'll change that to oftentimes, I wouldn't take what Arteta says literally sometimes, but sometimes he is right. Like, for example, Declan Rice, we knew he wasn't going to play in that cup game. He's still recovering from an injury, and I hope he'll be available in this game. But when I give you guys my predicted lineup, I'm going to give you guys my predicted lineup based on players who are available. That only makes sense. Arteta did talk about what he needs to improve as a coach. He talked about his tactical aspects and what he values tactically as a manager in each and every game. He also talks about we have to look at the emotional and physicality attributes of players in the team. Some players are not as physically involved in the games. He has to evolve and help train them, help improve them as part of his manager job. So he did talk about that going into this press conference. He also now begins to talk about the injuries concerning Rice and Calafiori. Arteta did mention that Rice and Calafiori are both available to be in the squad, as well as Tomiyasu not being available just yet. I think personally that Tomiyasu could be out for the rest of the season. It seems like Arteta kept saying he's going to be available soon. He's going to be available soon. This was like 5 weeks ago now. Folks, it's almost Christmas and it's almost 2025. And the only thing that hasn't changed is Tomiyasu, unfortunately, being made out of silly string or made out of glass, whichever one you want to say it. Say it as it is. Tomiyasu is a really good player, aerial ability wise, but your best ability is availability. I always say, and it's just a shame that he's plagued with injuries. Thanks, Jose. Big up to you. Hope you have a good day at work tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Raj is asking me, what are your thoughts on Nelly? Has he plateaued or maybe some nagging injuries? I'm not sure what's it. I don't know if it's just a confidence issue. It seems like he's having a confidence issue. But I do want to say one thing, that Martinelli gets a lot of stick on that left hand side, but I don't think he's the only poor player on that left hand side. I don't think he's having good support on the left hand side. You saw when Tierney came on, and this is Tierney who hasn't played in so God knows how long. And you saw the support he provided Martinelli. He does a lot more as a left back than the likes of Kivior. That game midweek that Kivior had was a game to forget for Jacob Kivior. And Tierney, someone who hasn't played in so many days, so many months, for him to give that support to Martinelli, you can see what he offered and what he helped contribute on that left hand side. But there's no denying that our left hand side is weak and needs improvement. I don't know what's happening with Sterling. Sterling, it seems like he was born offside. He was unlucky to score against Crystal Palace midweek in the League Cup. But I don't know what's happening, why he's not getting really start in the league. I know it's just a loan signing. He might even go back as early as January. This is just I'm not saying this based on any factual evidence, but if he wants to go back, I'm sure he can as early as January. So Zinchenko would probably undergo a late fitness assessment, is what I understood when Arteta corrected himself on Tomiyasu not being available and Zinchenko being available pending a late fitness test, is what I'm assuming in this game. Um, he did talk about Arsenal semi-final opponents in the Carabao Cup, which is Newcastle. I'm so glad we didn't get Liverpool, but I do think we'll see Liverpool in the final, and I think Liverpool are beatable. We saw that in the home game against Liverpool. I went to watch that live. It was such a great game. Although the third goal was ruled out for offside challenge, but I really enjoyed the game. Playing Liverpool, playing big teams, it's nice to go watch and support the players regardless of the game. But I really enjoyed that game in particular. It was really intense, and I was right up close, so I quite liked the celebrations, and we had a great night that night. Even though we didn't win the game, but I did have a good time. Always a great time at the Arsenal. Um, hope everyone's well today. Next up, I'm gonna talk about what I think my predicted lineup is gonna be based on the players that are available. Now, someone asked me, what do you think of Martinelli, Jesus, and Kai? I think this is not a game for Martinelli with the form that Gabriel Jesus did display in the League Cup midweek, scoring a hat trick. And guys, that first goal, that turn by Gabriel Jesus, I've not seen anyone else than Henry do something like that for Arsenal. That was a really good goal. His build-up play, his holding up the ball, his passing range. Gabriel Jesus, he just looked like reborn again or something. Right before Christmas, he looked like he really wants to, get back into form or in this team. I know Sami mentioned in the chat maybe Jesus left wing and play Kai center forward. Kai Havertz was rested midweek, folks. So I don't think Arteta's going to leave Kai Havertz out in this game. I'm going to jump into my predicted lineup. But before I do so, folks, do make sure you hit a like on this video. If you're watching on Twitter and you want to join the live chat, you can also comment on Twitter directly. It will still show me your comments. But if you want to be more involved, you can click the link in my Twitter profile and you can subscribe to my channel after checking out my previous videos, whether you like my content. I do Arsenal content and I also talk FPL and the Arsenal ladies. Arsenal ladies are soaring high under Renee. I know Rosie doesn't like me talking about the Arsenal ladies, but guys, I can't help it because we are unbeaten in the league and we've topped the group after losing the first Champions League game. We are now top of the group under Renee, who is an intern manager. I don't even want to call her an intern manager. She should be the manager in charge. Jonas Endevel, I'm so glad he left the club. Yes, I do tend to get distracted, but this was necessary to say. Also, Steph Catanli and Alicia Russo, my girls, are nominated for Players of the Month nominations. So I hope they do well. And Renee is also nominated for Manager of the Month nominations for November, or sorry, for December. I really hope our girls win it. Who's your player suggestion in the market for our left wing replacement? I think we need a Marquet X Factor signing on that left wing so both wings can work with us. Saka has been the only one trying for us. We talked about this yesterday on my stream and on Gunnar Dan's channel. Big up to Gunnar Dan. I went on there right after my stream ended, and both of us said I would bite Barcelona's hand off for Rafinha. And I know Jose loves Rafinha. He's such an explosive firepower player. He was good at Leeds. He was really good at Leeds. And he's the type of player that's going to, whether he's benched or not, he's a Trossard type of player. He'll come on and instantly impact the game. He's a game changer player, and I think he is a level raiser. I think he would help a lot in this team, and I really wish we would go for a player like Rafinha. You guys know Barcelona are struggling financially with FFP, I believe, and it looks like they're going to have to sell players like Dani Olmo or Rafinha. I would love to get Rafinha. I think bring him back to the Premier League. He's such a good player, and I hope Arsenal would look into a player like Rafinha in the market. Guys, back to my predicted 11 going into this game. The only thing I'm worried about is the left-hand side. So with Calafiori coming back and Zinchenko coming back, this likely means that this is the end of Kieran Tierney, and I don't think Kieran Tierney will get any more game time under his belt unless it's a cup game, truthfully. And maybe that's the case where they don't want to risk playing him because he might get injured again. Who knows what will happen? And it's kind of hard because we're trying to loan him out to Celtic, or we're trying to sell him permanently. And even when we bought him injured. Such a shame. But I don't think he's gonna play anymore unless our left backs get injured again. With that being said, my predicted lineup for this game is Raya in goal. I'm gonna play Lewis Skelly, Gabriel, and Saliba. They were rested midweek in the cup game. Mind you, Crystal Palace went really strong with their lineup, stronger than us, and we rested Gabriel and Saliba. So Gabriel and Saliba. Tim plays right back for me. I don't want to hear any of this Thomas Partey at right back shouts anymore, guys, unless we absolutely have to and there's no other alternative. Because guys, I'm tired of seeing Thomas Partey at right back. We all know his best abilities come from in the midfield. Please keep players in their respective positions, and it's much better seeing Partey in midfield, being the powerhouse unit to assist in midfield. Now, speaking of midfield, my midfield three is Partey, Rice, and Odegaard. Marino is someone I think is impactful off the bench, but I do want to see more from him. I think he offers a lot into this team. A lot of people were really harsh on him midweek in the game. I think he did a good job, and I think he offers a lot more midfield-wise than some of the other midfielders in the Premier League. There's a lot of things he does that often goes unnoticed. The build-up play and also his passing range, ability, direction of the game. I think he has really good ability to read the game and understand the game. Someone like Jorginho. But I also think he's really good tentative-wise in terms of his play and style of play in this team. I hope he continues to do well and develop in this team. People are so quick to write him off because of their preconceived biases, and they really want to be right about proving a player wrong or calling a player crap when they're not. I think Mikel Merino deserves time at Arsenal. We've given time for players like Robert Pires in the past. We talked about this yesterday on Dad's stream. People hated Robert Pires in the first year we signed him. They called him crap. He was terrible. And look at the legend. And he was such a great player for us. He became such a great player for us. So I don't want to write off a player so soon. I do think there is a player in Marino, and I like him. So that's just my opinion. Big up, Shay. Hope you're well. Long time, bro. Hope you're gonna watch the game tomorrow. We'll be doing a watch along with Moss Sports World. Um, Away to Sellers Park we go. Hopefully we get a win and we keep a clean sheet for Raya's sake. My midfield is Rice, Partey, and Odegaard. Marino is on the bench for me. And then my front three, folks, I think this is where everyone's going to ask. Gabriel Jesus, how can you drop him with the form that he had midweek? Kai Havertz being rested midweek and Martinelli being shot for confidence, or I don't know what's going on in terms of his attitude on the pitch in some of the games lately. It seems like he's getting really aggressive on the pitch, getting unnecessary yellow cards, and potentially could have even been sent off against Monaco. He's lucky that he got subbed off before that could happen. My front three, folks, would be Trossard on the left wing, Gabriel Jesus down the middle, and Saka on the right wing. In this case, I'm benching Kai Havertz. I think Gabriel Jesus deserves a start, considering the game that he had midweek. Now, some of you guys can even say play Gabriel Jesus on the left, Kai in the middle, and Saka on the right, and bring Trossard off the bench. That's my alternative starting 11 predictions. This is not what I think. This is not what I hope or I think Arteta will go for. I think Arteta would go for Trossard, Jesus down the middle, and Saka. Or the alternative would be Kai down the middle, Jesus left wing, and Saka right wing, which means Martinelli is dropped. Would Arteta drop Martinelli? That's the question. Hi, Jordan. Big up. Hope you're well. Um, Remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here and get a chance to 10K. Big up, Shay. The Shay, thanks for joining. You guys always make it a fun chat room in here and sharing your thoughts about football, about Arsenal, whether you support Arsenal, whether you support a different team. I do like to talk Premier League football and Champions League. I also watch League 1. And I like supporting my national team, Team Canada, England in the World Cup and Euros. But I also support Canada in the World Cup when we made it. And we're hosting the next World Cup 2026. I really hope I can get tickets to go to that. But I can't wait for international football. I quite enjoy it, but sometimes you get tired of it and you're like, I want club football back. So I hear both sides of that equation. My score predictions for this game. I do think Matata might be someone to look out for in terms of Crystal Palace, and of course, no other than Eddie Nketiah, our boy Nketiah. Because it was a permanent signing, he can play against us. And it's so typical of Arsenal to let Nketiah score against us in the League Cup. It was his second goal for Palace. He did score against QPR before in the EFL Cup. I think I'm going to go with 3-1 Arsenal win. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet away at Selhurst Park, but I do think we'll come out with 3 points and successful. It's important we get 3 points away from home in this game, continue the momentum because we do have tough games coming up. A look ahead means we have so many games in January. Someone mentioned it earlier. We have 8 games in January to be played. We're still in the Champions League. We have a Champions League game against Dinamo Zagreb, which is a must-win game. Hopefully high-scoring game for us because we need to be in that top 8 to avoid a playoffs for the Champions League round of 16 with the new format. Hopefully we get into the top 8, and then we have Girona away in the final group stage game, which wouldn't matter if we're already through in the top 8 from the Dinamo Zagreb result. Now, we also have Ipswich in the league. Ipswich are no pushovers. They've shown they're no pushover. These tractor boys getting the best of Man United. we're playing them at home. We have Brentford away, who are not necessarily on the greatest of forms. And Buemo, he kind of started the season strong. He was supposed to be the guy, the savior for the Ivan Toney replacement, but I don't think he can manage by himself in that Brentford team. They're looking like really lost. They got eliminated by Newcastle in the League Cup. And then we have Brighton away. Brighton haven't necessarily been the easiest team to play against in the past for us. Brighton away, some controversial decisions made there, just like at Newcastle away last season. Then we have the FA Cup game against Man United, where there will be no VAR in that game. We're playing Man United at home in the FA Cup with Ruben Amorim. Then we have a North London derby, and then Aston Villa at home, and then Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League. So of those 8 home fixtures we have in January, of those 8 games we have to play in January, 5 of those games are going to be at home at the carpet. So a lot of home games coming up. It is going to be a busy, festive period for the Arsenal, and that means training after training after training, and hopefully we can stay focused and keep it together, because we need to close the gap, mind the gap between Liverpool and Chelsea, who are currently above us. Chelsea are looking in form at the moment. I do think Liverpool will drop in form. I don't think Liverpool are someone that's unbeatable. I do think they can be beat, and they did show that against us, that we can beat them. I think Liverpool against Tottenham, I do think Liverpool are going to annihilate Tottenham, and I'd love to see that. Even though I don't want Liverpool to get 3 points, I do always love a Tottenham Hotspur humiliation. And Ange Postecoglou, I want to see Ange tears. So that's this weekend, folks. Let me know your score predictions in the comments down below. If you are watching this on replay, you can comment your score prediction in the comments at the end of the stream. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet. But first Arsenal goal scorer will be Martin Odegaard for me. Second with Saka. And finally, I think Gabriel Jesus is going to get another goal in this game. And that would be great for him, especially with him not scoring in over 12 months. The last time he scored before the League Cup. So that's insane. So I hope he gets another goal for him and for his confidence in if he can get a start in the Premier League. In terms of FPL, folks, it's now game week 17. I'm just going to go through my team briefly. I don't know how to screen share, if I can screen share on my, I don't know if I can screen share on my iPad, which I'm streaming from, so that's why I keep looking at my computer. Guys, my team this week is already sorted. If you haven't already sorted your FPL team, what are you doing messing about? The deadline is early tomorrow. The games start early in the morning tomorrow, so sort your FPL team if you haven't already. This game week, I did make 2 transfers. I think, and I hope it'll pay off. Every time I sell a player, like a striker like Cunha, he ends up scoring. I know Cunha is being investigated for the incident last game week, so it's potentially possible that he could get a ban. But I sold Joe Pedro for Chris Wood against Brentford. I think Brentford are absolutely terrible away from home. They have 0 wins away from home so far in the league. And I think Forest are going to annihilate them. So Chris Wood, please, Chris Wood, get a hat trick in this game. You would be incredible in my FPL. I also have Nicholas Jackson against Everton at Goodison Park. And then I have Isaac against Ipswich away from home as well. I have Amad Diallo in my team, Bukayo Saka, and then Palmer and Salah. Salah is at Tottenham away. As I just mentioned, I hope Tottenham get annihilated. I know Liverpool are going to get, or are likely to get 3 points, but I always love to see Tottenham Hotspur humiliation. So, I think I didn't make big transfers this week. I don't like taking too many hits. So I just did 2 transfers for a -4. I had 1 free transfer already. Guys, those of you who are still playing FPL, hopefully your rank's good, because mine isn't. I do hope to get in the top 100K at the end of the season, though. I know it's not a race or a marathon, but one step at a time. My challenge league, I'm doing better in the mini league, so hopefully it stays that way. But if you guys want to join my FPL league, my league code is FR8GRO. Those of you who want to join, you can be added for tomorrow's game week 17. But if you join after tomorrow, you would be added in game week 18. It is a prize league. There's over 1,700 people in the league, so it's very competitive. And the top two winners get a £10 voucher of their choice emailed to them. I did it 2 seasons in a row now, and I've been nowhere near the top pages of my league to see the members in the league. But this season so far, I'm near the top. I can see my name. It's not really high, but I think I'm around the 100 range, which isn't too bad. Not too shabby, right? But last season I was near the bottom, so it was quite embarrassing in my own league, struggling against very good managers, I guess, getting lucky with their picks. Those of you using your bench boost or any chips, they did reveal the new mystery chip. I think it's terrible, the new mystery chip, because you need to essentially bank 5 transfers to make the new manager chip work well for you in your favor. I don't think it was a good idea by Fantasy Premier League. But hey, kudos to everyone still playing FPL, because every week I'm saying I'm going to quit FPL and I end up changing my team. Sometimes I've forgotten to change my team. So to be honest, it does get a bit frustrating when you bring players in thinking, hey, this player's gonna haul, and they do nothing, or they do F all the whole game. That happened to me last week. I captained Cole Palmer and he did nothing. I think he only got 1 assist, and Salah got a goal and assist. So Salah outscored Palmer last week. It's hard to predict, but it is fun. It's like putting a bet when you're watching the games, putting a wager. I know Rosie puts really long parlays and bets on for games. It just adds to the fun when you're watching these games to see how well you do. But it's not fun when you're having a low scoring game week, that's for sure. With that being said, folks, this was my quick match preview of the Crystal Palace game. I think Palace are in good form at the moment, and we shouldn't underestimate them, but that's not to say they can't be beat. And I do think Arsenal are going to come out successful with 3 points in this game. My score prediction was a 3-1 Arsenal, and I did say my predicted lineup. We looked ahead at the fixtures coming up in January. The festive period is going to be busy for the Arsenal men's and ladies team, especially for the men's team. We are jam-packed in January with 8 games to be played. Still in the Champions League, still in the League Cup semifinals, with an FA Cup third round commencing in February. So it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a lot of football. I can't wait for the Boxing Day matches. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in live. Of course, guys, I'm not really the type of person to tell people I'm going live. I usually just post about it after. But thanks to everyone who managed to catch me live. Big up to each and every one of you. We are currently on the road to 9,500 subscribers. Slowly but surely on the road to 10K subs, which would be enormous for a channel like mine that started 4 years ago at the start of the COVID pandemic. I'm really grateful for the community we built. Big up to Garvin. Thank you for joining. And we are going to close out the show. If you're watching on replay, let me know your predicted lineup for the game against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, your score predictions, and how do you think Arsenal will match up against Crystal Palace away from home. As always, folks, come on, you Gunners, and may Arsenal come out successful with 3 points. No further casualties is all I ask for. Please, can we close the gap on Chelsea and Liverpool? We'll find out tomorrow. Come on, you Gunners, and let's go get these 3 points at Selhurst Park. Adios, everyone. Have a wonderful holidays to you and your family. I will be live after the game tomorrow, so tomorrow we'll do a watch-along for the Crystal Palace game. I'll also be live right after the game for a match review, and then we'll do something for Christmas, something fun probably for the holidays on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, probably on Christmas Eve. I hope everyone has a lovely holiday season with their families and friends and loved ones. Hopefully no one's alone for Christmas. My inbox on Twitter, my social media is always open. Nobody should spend the holidays alone. So if anyone ever wants to chat, as long as you're respectful, You know where to find me on my socials. All my socials are Miss Melina. I hope everyone has a blessed and wonderful holiday season. Best regards to each and every one of you. Merry Christmas to you and your families. Take care. Happy holidays and adios. We are out of here. Oh, have a good weekend, everybody, and enjoy the football tomorrow.